I'm so curious because you have such a unique sound. It's sort of techno, but also psychedelic a little bit. Charlie, how do you guys describe the music you make?
Do you want to go first, John?
I'm easy going.
Yeah, go on.
I think it's a mix of everything we've sort of listened to, learnt playing growing up, and definitely I think whether consciously we knew that or just sort of because that's what was getting played to us. I think from the family, it was very much a wide variety of music, and I think it's just sort of to be fair, our dad always said that there's no point overthinking. Oh, we need to make this, we need to make that because of the sort of upbringing we'd had. He'd sort of said that if we just play, something will come from that, and just sort of stick with your guns and just go straight with that. And I think that's what we've done, and we've been doing more and more of.
Charlie, then
Yeah.
is there some piece of advice that your dad gave you before the two of you started working in the music industry that you guys really took to heart going forward for your group?
Yeah,
He
to be
said,
fair, I think the main bit of advice he gave was don't get into music.
yeah,
And clearly you took that.
yeah. It was impossible, I think, to not get into music though, because we were taught instruments from a young age. We saw both our parents touring, performing, enjoying making music and being successful. So it wasn't like a choice. I think there's certain careers where you don't choose it. This is going to sound like a really horrible sci-fi main character says this to someone, but like you don't choose the career; it almost chooses you in a way. So I think it was yeah. Even if we had zero streams or listeners, we'd still be playing music. We'd still be playing our instruments. So yeah, I think John summed it up nicely.
John, there's some beautiful songs on this new album, Songs for Workers. Where does the title come from?
It was sort of a lot of the Chinese like traditional Chinese music I liked was the stuff coming out sort of late 60s to the 70s. Obviously, where it's quite communist. So then when you translate the names to English, a lot of the time if you use Google Translate, it would just be sort of a weird, not quite making sense in English, if you know what I mean.
Yeah.
And it would sort of have that communist element, but then not quite making sense. And I think when we always spent ages trying to come up with the name of the album. Sometimes you'll have like the track, and you can like Red Mist. We last year's one because we felt that fit the album and the title track. With this one, it was just sort of ended up coming up with that name. For all right, that's quite a weird name, and it sort of we liked it. And then we didn't actually have the track songs for Workers on the album probably till like literally 2 weeks before we decided to put it out.
Charlie, the songs on this are so beautiful. Some of my favorites are Watch the Sunrise and Mongolian Dub. I'm curious, what's your songwriting process? Do you and John have to get music before you can flesh out different aspects of crafting the song?
Good question. I mean, so I do all the songwriting. I think it's a mix. Sometimes I wouldn't say poems, but like just lyrics where it's more like I hate spoken word, but like more spoken word. I'll have like I write all on my phone, but like all the notes on my phone of different lyrics or whatever. And then if we have a song, I can put more spoken word stuff to like basically whatever song in whatever time if it's quite loose and whatnot. When it's more melodic, usually like I think this album we definitely picked Dharma and Songs for Workers. Sorry, Watch the Sunrise, where there would be a bit more composition from a melodic perspective, just because the worst thing is to get into a studio, plan to have a song, and then you have the song, you now only have 2 hours left to write lyrics and record them or whatever. So I think that was maybe more of a practical element was, okay, we're going to have more of a compositional element, if that's even a word, to the to some of the songs, and they were the main two, Dharma and Watch the Sunrise. Basically, anything with melody usually would have some kind of melodic thinking behind it, so I can kind of come up with lyrics beforehand, and then we go and record everything.
How much of a hand do you two tend to have on the production side, Charlie? Do you guys let it go and sort of craft it yourself or sort of craft it yourself?
Yeah, I mean, there's no like. I think the best way we could do it, and I think it's probably the only way we could, John would probably agree with me, work together is John handles all the rhythm, John handles anything percussive, and then I handle melody. Just because I think even when we were young, Tian Qiyi should have happened probably 5 or 6, 7 years ago. But I think we just used to argue too much. It was only when we said, "All right, these are the rules. If you have a rhythmic idea, that's it. That happens. If I have a melodic idea, it it kind of happens. So there's not. It just basically means from a production aspect, there's no kind of crossover. It's very usually sometimes there's a grey area at times, but usually it's pretty straightforward. But yeah, a lot of the production side is pretty organic. Like John said, it's most of the albums improvised, barring like I said, Dharma and Watch the Sunrise. It's quite instinctive. John will set up, at least for a lot of the songs, John set up a kind of like home studio, where actually in our mum's like community centre. So it's a big hall. He soundproofed it all, and then John hit record and basically played a lot of the music, picked the best takes, and cut it up from there.
Well, John, I picked out my favorite songs off Songs for Workers. Did the two of you, or just you, have some personal favorites of your own?
Do you want to answer, John?
Yeah, yeah. Well, for me, I think both of us favorite one's Siege, isn't it?
Yeah, that's huge.
See, I think Siege for both is the favorite, and then the other one I do like Mongolian dub, and then also the track songs for workers.
Yeah, I like it at the beginning as
Yeah,
well.
yeah. And to be
Yeah.
fair, I like Sunrise. I like Sunrise. It's quite different to the other songs we have on the album as well.
John, have you guys been playing any of these songs live yet, or are you working on doing some live shows coming up?
Yeah, we've been playing at the beginning probably for like 2 years, haven't we? Like literally
Yeah.
just after Red Miss. I think it was we were doing a live thing, we're messing about and come up with that, and then we just kept it and ended up recording it for this. But yeah, we're finding ways to bring it in, finding ways to bring some of the other tracks in. But I think definitely some because when we do it as a duo, we're having to loop bass and set loops with the who are more in Kern and sort of build it that way. And I think we're trying to find ways for tracks like Sunrise where it is a lot more melodical and there's a lot more changes. We're trying to work out ways we can incorporate that into a live set with just two of us.
John, whose idea then was it to get your legendary father, Jah Wobble, here on bass for the album?
It was I think it was from the last project. He'd never really when we'd done stuff in the past, I don't think he ever really thought about playing on it. But I think it was a few of the tracks really just suited what he would do. So I think we played it to him. He was like, "Yeah, of course, I'll come in and help." And then the original idea was getting him to help with production, but then it ended up it done bass on a few of them, and then definitely with this album, he just sort of said, "No, me and Charlie need to produce it. He'll come and put bass on some of the tracks, do it that way, and especially the ones that fitted in putting it on." But yeah, I think that's how it come about. It wasn't. I think it was because we played a few, he liked them, and sort of we said, would you come and do it?" And then yeah, so it sort of came through that way.
Charlie, what did it mean to you then to finally have an official song on an album with your dad?
Yeah, it was great. I mean, it does. I mean, it didn't feel like unnatural. It felt not. It almost yeah. It felt normal. I mean, going back to when we were kids, we played on one of his albums on a Chinese dub. So like, I mean, we've always kind of done stuff with him. I think this was definitely the first like serious thing for us, like for our music, where we were like, okay, this is like we're working with our dad now. But yeah, no, it felt really natural. It felt like a smooth segue from kind of growing up and kind of learning how to play, how to be musicians, and then now we have a big album we want to do, and yeah, it's great to have him on board.
All right, John, are you guys already back in the studio or Mom's Community Center? I mean, working on some new music?
We've been talking about it, to be fair. We've got a few little ideas, and we are talking about what we're going to be doing, sort of coming up as well.
Charlie, what would you guys like to say then to everyone who are fans and supporters of the beautiful music the two of you make?
I mean, first of all, massive thank you. I like to think they have good taste Maybe I'm wrong. Um, but yeah, no, massive thank you. Obviously, anyone who comes to the shows, anyone who shows up, shows love on our social media or reposts and tells their friends about us, double thank you and double love you. Um, but yeah, massive thank you and yeah, hopefully you enjoy the album and future songs too.
What about you, John? What would you like to say?
Yeah, I'd say to say thank you so much for supporting it. And yeah, I'd like to think it's a good taste in music or a different taste in music. And yeah, thank you for supporting us and hopefully come and see some of our shows where that way. I do think with us, that's one thing that we can do, like with the live stuff. We take that from a lot of the old school bands, probably from the influence from my dad. The live stuff is a real experience. So if you can get in and see some of the live stuff, it's never might be the same set list now and then, but the tracks are never going to sound the same twice when you come and see us. And I think that's a nice, yeah. If you can come and see us, then yeah, that'd be great.
So
Yeah.
then, do you play the drums live when you guys are on the show?
Yeah, so I'll play drums, percussion, and then play the bass, generally loop in the bass. And Charlie will deal with all melody. He's got the main two will use Humor and Kerr, but he can play pretty much every Chinese string, like bowing instrument, and a
Wow.
few other sort of East Asian bowing instruments. And now and then, if we've got the space or a longer set, we'll bring loads of them down. And
Must,
he does all the singing as well.
that's a lot of work for the two of you.
Oh,
Especially,
too much. Honestly, when something goes wrong, to be fair, it rarely does. But I've had it twice now, where like because I'd use the pedals in a loop station. When something goes wrong, it's absolute nightmare. But no, usually and sometimes it kind of works for the better. Something new happens when something goes wrong. So yeah, it's all about taking it in a stride. But there is definitely like I think all the gear we definitely need like someone to help us out with like probably soon. If we get any bigger shows coming up, we'll have to have someone helping us carry stuff.
Yeah, I must admit, I enjoy seeing Charlie sometimes when the pedals go wrong, on all fours, struggling, losing his head, trying to throw pedals around and fix everything.
that's
Oh mate,
the brother part of you. That's not the.
yeah, I nearly booted my pedal board off stage last week. Honestly, it was so frustrating. But anyway, yeah.
So definitely come check you guys out live.